You know, one of the biggest things that was disturbing me, unlike all the videos that I've done before, is basically how much crime has risen in the city and nobody seems to do anything about it or seems to even care. And that's disturbing to me. You know, I was looking at the news and I decided to record some of the clips that I find off the news. See if that's affecting me too. Maybe I'll get through to other people and it might affect them as well. So this next clip is a clip that Charlie LaDuff did on Channel 2 News, is where I'm getting these clips from. And it's about crime in Detroit and also about crime in New York and what it was in comparison per capita or whatever. You'll see it off this next clip that I'm finna show you now.
Only this many murders this month or this year, and rarely do you get the context of population size or density within the city limits. So you think, oh, that sounds like a pretty good number, until you realize that Detroit is a fraction of its former size, which is the off-the-chain point this week by Charlie LaDuff. Charlie's on the couch now. You did some digging and some really sobering numbers if you compare Detroit to, like, say, New York, Chicago, or Philly.
Yeah, now let me get a drink of this coffee.
Paper cup. You know, we can get you one of those.
Please. Because I know we would all like one.
Yeah.
I hate it's Monday morning, man, but somebody's got to do this. Detroit had 4 murders on Friday. 4. And 11 shootings. And we're talking about, cutting police. And Detroit now has more murders than any city in America. More than New York, which is 11 times bigger. More than Chicago, which is 4 times bigger. More than Philadelphia, which is twice as large. Los Angeles was 6 times as large. How can that be? Like, you can
think about that for a second. Detroit has 700,000 people.
Yeah.
New York has 8 million. 8 million. And you're comparing that? I mean, it doesn't even compute.
It doesn't compute. Now, Detroit's got 44 homicides this year. New York's got 26. Now, New York's no cream puff. Right. Brooklyn's a hard joint, and it's 2 million people. The Bronx is a hard joint. That's 2 million people. So, yes, there's money, these sort of things, but where's the outrage? Where's the outrage? I mean, we're going to have the bloodiest year in the history of this city.
In fact, we were talking before the break. I asked Lee to guess how many murders, if you extrapolate it out, if Detroit were the size of New York City, which you say is 8 million people, how many murders for the whole year?
On pace now, we would have 5,000 murders. The record in New York was 2,200 murders in 1990.
There you go.
And here's the headline from back then. I'm going to wait. Dave, do something.
Now, that looks like Morgan Freeman, but that's actually David Dinkins, the former mayor of New York City. This led to Rudy Giuliani.
This led to Rudy Giuliani and a big crackdown in New York. Now, they had a lot of trouble with that, but
you could put Dave Bing's picture there and it'd say, Dave, do something. That's the point of your column.
Yeah, that's right. The start of my column says, Dave, do something. And I decided to take this just to remind everybody. Look, it says, we are captives in our own homes. New York streets are awash in blood. This could be taken out of our headlines. But it's the silence to me is amazing here. Like, I know that the mayor's got his hands full with a budget he hasn't been able to get his hands around for years. But public safety is his priority. This is stuff you can do about, and you cannot tell me that the police cannot prevent murder. There's no respect for the law in this city streets. You don't need a driver's license. You can carry a gun. If you get caught, you're getting probation. It's out of control, and everybody's crying out. My job on Monday morning is to tell the mayor, Dave, do something. The city's never coming back. Not when we're having murder that is deeper and more severe than during the crack epidemic. Yeah. The crack epidemic is when murder exploded in America. How come what's happening? Yeah, I know there's punks and no jobs and no respect. Well then, make him have respect for the law.
You mentioned the governor in your column.
Yeah, the governor, he's got a surplus. He's talking about more police. He's talking about the jails. He's talking about parole absconders. He's talking about a holistic approach. My advice is everybody get together and have this conversation and have it quick. I mean, for the love of God, for the love of the people out there, Dave, do something. You're the man. You asked for it.
The complete column is on myfoxdetroit.com. It's called Off the Chain, and we'll be back again on Monday with another edition. Who knows what you're going to come up with next week.
That's Detroit. That's the size of Detroit. All the way over here, you have New York. Over 2 million in New York. And all the way over here in Detroit, a couple thousand. The difference between a few million and a couple thousand, that's crazy. Now see, that's crazy. After you add all that up, it's like I should start this whole clip off like we in Law and Order. You know, that's based on in New York, but since we got more murder and crime in New York, we're gonna start this clip off like we living in Law and Order, criminal intent.
Criminal justice system, sexually based offenses are considered especially heinous. In New York City, the dedicated detectives who investigate these vicious felonies are members of an elite squad known as the Special Victims Unit. These are their stories.
And this next one is just disturbing to me is how a little baby gets shot by a drive-by. Now, has violence gone that tough and that hard that children is getting hit by drive-bys now?
Very slow. We do know they're looking for a gray van. No license plate number, no type of vehicle, but a gray van. But police are telling Fox 2 one-year-old baby was killed, the victim of a drive-by shooting here in Greenview, the 8,000 block. It happened around 4 o'clock this morning. Other people were inside the house, as a matter of fact, including 2 adults and several of the children. They were not injured. What the witnesses are telling Fox 2 is 2 men out of a van, stood in the middle of the street, opened fire. Both of them opened fire at the house, riddling the house from the front to the side. They said they calmly got back into the van, and the van slowly took off. No speeding or nothing. That's why police said we got some cold-blooded killers out there, and they want to catch them as soon as possible. Unusual move by police a short time ago. They moved us away from the scene about a block away now as the investigation continues. But police right now looking for at least 2 people, 2 armed gunmen, a gray van, and a 1-year-old child. As a matter of fact, has died as a result of that. That child was taken to Sinai Grace Hospital.
Now I'm thinking maybe the crime is coming from because we are so stressed on how everything, the price on everything seems to be going up. Price on water, the price on gas, all the utilities seem to be going high. I mean, this is what they want for gas. Even gas is going up.
If you're running on empty, it'll probably cost you more to fill up now than it did the last time. The average price at the pump has jumped 12 cents in the past 3 weeks. In Michigan, according to AAA, the average price is $3.42 per gallon. A Wall Street Journal writer spoke about it with the Fox News channel. He says this could turn into an election issue.
You remember back in 1980 when Jimmy Carter lost the White House, the primary reason he lost was because of very high inflation. Now, look, we don't have the kind of inflation rates we had under Jimmy Carter, but when people start feeling that squeeze, John, of higher food prices, high gas prices, higher utility prices, those things do really shrink the family budget and make times tougher for Americans.
Some analysts think gas prices could hit $4 per gallon by May.
Water going up too. What you paying on price for water today, you won't be paying the price for water tomorrow.
They said the older the system is, it costs more to repair. As a result, more than likely we're going to see a water and sewage rate increase sometime in the next several months. They formed an authority last year from Wayne, Oakland, Macomb County, and the city of Detroit to sit down, work on ways to keep the rates down, or if they go up, not that high. But apparently it didn't work. They're going to raise rates about 8.5% on an average for residents in Detroit and the surrounding suburban areas. About 4 million people are on the water and sewage line, and of course they're going to end up paying more. Ways to figure it out. Some say the only thing we can do right now is just maintain what we have, and hopefully costs won't go up. But that's not going to be the case this year. Water and sewage rates, an average every year for the last 4 years, 8%, this time about 8.5%. Live from Detroit's east side, Al Allen, Fox 2 News.
Detroit water and sewerage customers will see an 8.5% hike in the coming days. The changes are part of the department's new strategies to get more money through fixed costs instead of water sales. Community leaders will review the new structure at a water rates meeting set for Thursday. These rate increases are the first since representatives from the suburbs were added to the Detroit Water Commission board.
And another big issue for me is racism. I mean, it seems like no matter how far we strive on racism and we all trying to live together, if we take 2 steps forward, it seems like we take 3 steps back. No matter what the community strives on, there's always ignorance out here, and ignorance seems to strive. Even now, as I'm walking into a nice neighborhood and I'm filming this, it's like a car that has passed me over 3 times. Trying to figure out why is it that I'm walking around with a camera and filming myself. But at the same time, just the other day, I seen some kids, not of my complexion, walking around with military fatigue on and BB guns. Now, all I have is a camera. Now, what if I had military fatigue on? I mean, this is another clip where they don't even want the goodwill to come out there because they think this is going to bring poor black people. Come on, man.
But as Fox 2's Amy Andrews explains, the plan is meeting some resistance from residents and an old city ordinance.
Goodwill's proposal to move a retail store into a vacant building here in downtown Dearborn on hold once again. It was tabled last night after planning commissioners failed to reach an agreement on whether to allow plans for the store to move forward. A Dearborn city ordinance lumps secondhand stores in with strip clubs and says they can't be within 700 feet of schools and homes. Goodwill thought getting a special waiver would be easy since the ordinance is 20 years old, but they were wrong. Last night's commissioners' vote ended in a 4-4 stalemate. Those against the plan say the store just doesn't fit in with the surrounding businesses, but Goodwill execs disagree.
We keep talking about that there's the income base to provide the goods, but I'm concerned about who's buying the goods.
You're worried about people coming. What is it, the color of their skin? How much they make? Is that really what we're talking about here?
And if they would do their homework and look into who we are and what we do and see that we've helped so many thousands of people in our 90-year history, it saddens me. It really does.
Goodwill can either bring its plans up once again at the March 12th commissioners meeting or move their plans to another Metro Detroit city. We'll see what happens and bring you the latest developments.
And like I said before, maybe that's why they don't want the bus systems operating in the city. That's probably why they don't want the buses. I mean, here's another clip where it seems like they got brand new buses and they done had it for I don't know how long, but yet they refuse to put them on the streets. I mean, what is that? Is that a political deal? I mean, what is the deal with that? I don't understand.
Message from Mayor Dave Bing. Al, are we seeing chocolates and roses?
How about thorns and nails?
Oh.
That's what we're looking at. Bus riders in Detroit not happy this morning. They call themselves Transportation Riders United. On this Valentine's Day, they hand-deliver a Valentine message to Mayor Dave Bing, except the message was not very sweet. Small in numbers, the group Transportation Riders United, or TRUE, says it represents many of the 100,000 often frustrated people who ride DDOT every day. They wanted to give the mayor the Valentine's Day message, ways to improve bus service. One major problem, the mayor's office doors locked.
It's outrageous that they're not only not willing to that they're not solving these problems, but that they're not even willing to talk to people.
With major bus transportation cuts coming next month, True is asking Mayor Dave Bing to be truthful about saving public transportation.